All right, it is Monday, June 16, 2025 at 1:30, and this is the Health, Housing, Homelessness, and Human Services Committee with Supervisor Luis Alejo and myself, Wendy Rudascu. We are calling our committee meeting to order. We are active on Zoom as well as from the Monterey room of the Government Center in Salinas, as well as from the District 4 Supervisor's Office in Marina, which starts with a presentation of the Rainbow Connections Mental Health Services Act MHSA Innovations project. And we have Melanie Rhodes with Monterey County Behavioral Health Bureau present with us to present.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Supervisor Askew. With me today is Fabricio Chombo, our Assistant Bureau Chief with Behavioral Health, and also online is our subject matter expert regarding the Rainbow Connections Initiative, Casey Rodenbush, who I believe has been promoted to a panelist and will also be weighing in. She's out of the area today and was only available to connect via Zoom. So Rainbow Connections, I believe, there we go, we have the presentation up. So Rainbow Connections is a 5-year, $7.8 million MHSA Innovation project that's led by County Behavioral Health and really is about a collaborative effort with many different system partners, and it's really designed to interconnect our youth serving systems and community-based organizations to cultivate an environment of support, inclusion, and belonging for LGBTQ plus youth across home, school, and community settings. So really integrate across those different settings. And the project goals are outlined here, really to empower youth to have that voice, to be able to express themselves, to develop leadership skills, to be able to provide input into the program and the offerings and the services that would be helpful to build capacity within the system, increase access to affirming care, and just really enhance within and across system collaboration with the different partners. And hopefully Casey will be able to come online and speak to really highlight the work that's being done by the different partners here in a minute, but it's really about creating a provider network to increase access to LGBTQ plus affirming care and to cultivate environment of belonging within and throughout our county system for youth, and really addressed some of the trauma that they've experienced by having not so great experiences. It's a collaboration with different partner groups here, and I really appreciate the Board of Supervisors recognizing all of the partners in behavioral health this month at the Board of Supervisors meeting with the resolution and all the partners being able to be there. You saw from the turnout that was present at that meeting just what a collaborative effort this is. And Casey?
All right, so this top row were our original, I just call them the OG providers, because they were the ones at behavioral health. We were working with them already when I first started envisioning this whole project. So Partners for Peace, Harmony at Home, and the Epicenter, we've had long-standing relationships with them. So I really started with them, and then the project started to grow over time. On the bottom row, so we have those top three. They were in one way or another involved with behavioral health working in the school system, because that was really where I've spent all of my time in behavioral health. Then we have You Will Rise, which is bringing, maybe on your way in, if you're there locally, you saw the beautiful mural that's now installed at the Government Center. And that was completed through the brilliance of You Will Rise. We have Dragonfly Forward, Gender Health Training Institute, and the Diversity Center. And I'll explain a little bit more about each of their roles here in the next few slides. So go ahead and advance. So behavioral health, we have a Rainbow Connections care team where I love this part of the project because we're really starting to see the interconnection come alive. Where behavioral health, we have multiple programs within our child and adolescent system of care. So we have internally a care team that can provide specialized treatment and support and navigation for any of the services and supports that we have available through our provider network. So we do not only the individual therapy, we work with the families, we can provide family therapy. We can also link to our clinics, to our Monterey County clinics at the Laurel Family Practice, where if the youth needs hormones, then we can help link there. And then we are also providing some skills building groups in the schools. Next slide, please. Partners for Peace. This is a very integral component of the project because it's all about our family relationships. LGBTQ plus youth really can struggle in home environments. So Partners for Peace has not only support groups for our parents and caregivers, but also one-on-one support. We have 2 family support partners that are now available to not only work with families one-on-one, but also link them to support groups available through their organization, and then also to other parents, because we want to really develop a parent network. Because once we provide those human bridges, then we can let their connections strengthen over time. So it's not just dependent on the organizations, so that we can help grow this parent network throughout Monterey County and beyond. And what's also important is we have Spanish-speaking providers that can support the parents and caregivers in their native language and really connect with them on cultural stressors and oftentimes religious stressors that can get in the way of our families being able to embrace the youth for exactly who they are. They're also helping build our faith leader network, which is very important because our families do turn to their faith leaders for support and counsel when they're experiencing confusion or need support. So Partners for Peace is helping us. We're about to have our first faith leaders network breakfast, which will be wonderful, bring everybody together. Next slide, please. Harmony at Home, we started working with them in the schools years ago, behavioral health did, and they have a bullying prevention component to their programming. So they work with us in collaboration with the other providers, and we did a lot of work in PG this past school year, Pacific Road Unified School District. We did a parent learning series in partnership, so behavioral health and Harmony at Home is part of this project. We did a 4-part online learning series and helped parents navigate not only the complexities that social media presents, but also any type of bullying or cyberbullying that is bias-based. They also are helping us implement the Welcoming Schools program, which is a part of the Human Rights Campaign Foundation. And we're starting to see that part grow, which is really fun and amazing to see. These schools now are coming to us asking for this training, which is wonderful to see. They offer parent workshops, which I mentioned we do online, but we also do that on site. And then also they help with starting up anti-bullying clubs and in collaboration with another one of our providers, helping start up the Gender Sexuality Alliance. So the Epicenter, one of the things that I realized after I got going was that because the Epicenter does focus on transitional age youth, that has been their focus since inception. So I needed to work to develop that component and then also look at the younger aged youth. So the Epicenter does partner with another one of our providers I'll introduce here on the next slide. But with Epicenter, if you're familiar with them, they're wonderful. They've been doing lots of work in our community I think they just had their 10-year anniversary. And they have a program called Our Gente. And they've been doing this work for a really long time, and I approached them a while ago to ask them to do this together with us, and it's just been wonderful because the project is really about interconnecting all of our resources so that we're not operating in silos. So the Epicenter, because they've been active and involved in the community for a really long time, they have developed and established networks. So we're building upon what has already existed. So we're not coming in to replace anything, we're just here to enhance and provide more resources. They also have a group called Queer Trans Youth Collective, which is an important piece because our queer youth really do need mentoring and support to be able to look to community to see themselves reflected in other people. So we have that available through the Queer Trans Youth Collective, and they've been an active part in our Rainbow Connections programming. They also provide a Youth Empowerment Council, which is our Zoom offering that can bring students not only in Monterey County together, but also San Benito County. And we've been able to offer a few different youth-led activities that they really want to see. And then they are part of our governance structure because we need to have this layer of the youth feedback. So the Youth Empowerment Council has been able to act in that capacity for us. Next slide, please. University Center, I'm really grateful to bring this provider in because as I mentioned in the previous slide, I was missing the elementary school age youth. So adding the Diversity Center on as a partner has helped us provide the support for the entire youth population and young adult population. They've been doing wonderfully in helping produce events. We did our Rainbow Connections Student Wellness Expo at the County Office of Education a little earlier last month, which was wonderful. They're also writing inclusive social emotional learning lesson plans that we're implementing in select school sites. So now that we have this project fully operational, we have districts coming in and requesting specific so they call it SEL because we're in a world of acronyms. So inclusive SEL curriculum. So going into classrooms, providing lessons on gratitude and how do we enhance our awareness of gratitude in our lives so that if we're struggling, what can we be grateful for? And then they bring the inclusion piece in too. They work in collaboration with the epicenter. So the way that I've designed this model is wherever we go together. So a provider is not ever working in isolation, that whatever we're doing particularly in a school setting, that the providers are working together as a team. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a big component. It is training. So the really important piece around this project is that we build capacity. And what that means is really providing as much training for people as possible. We have all of our providers that have been doing the trainings all along. We have the Family Acceptance Project. We have Dr. Jen Hastings, Dr. Sean John Matei, and Luke Pesha. So we're offering 3 trainings a month, and it's going well. I can tell you this is global. We now have people coming from all over the world to these trainings. So in any given training, there usually has been around 4 to 5 different countries coming into our trainings. So that's something that I had not anticipated when I started dreaming this up, but it's really a beautiful resource that we've been able to offer to the world because people can come in and get these types of trainings at no cost. So I just am so grateful for this piece. They're also helping the continuing education component so that the providers that do need the CE credits, they can get those credits. So if they're in Santa Cruz, San Benito, or Monterey County, all those providers can get their continuing education credits at no cost. I'll also mention that the trainings are recorded, so we have, oh my gosh, probably about 25 trainings up there at this point that are on digital, available for digital replay. They're all 3 hours in length, and I'll be working this summer on a school, I'm calling it the Rainbow Connections Masterclass Series for Educators and School-Based Providers. That's a very big title. But this is based on feedback that we can give our school-based providers a 1-hour dose of best practices once a month for the entire school year. And that will be replicated for the next school year and the next 2 following. And at that point, our funding will have sunsetted. Okay, now you will rise. So I'm in love with this component because it's so wonderful. We get to see this freedom of expression in our youth. They need that. They need be able to be themselves, and creativity is just such a neutral way to go with this type of work. It's a wonderful entry point. Paul Richmond is my twin flame in this work. I just appreciate him so much, and we see things in a systems type of a way. So I'm so grateful for him. We're doing work all over the county thanks to the You Will Rise project. And then next slide. Okay, we're almost through, y'all. Thanks for hanging on. It's really complex. Okay, Dragonfly Forward. So at the heart of this project, what got it funded was this innovations idea, is that if we create a mechanism to interconnect all of our resources, will it work? And we applied it to an underserved population, those are the requirements. Dragonfly Forward is coming on. They're a national expert in school systems interconnection, interconnecting mental health into systems. So they're working with us to create a blueprint so that this blueprint can be installed in any school across, not only the nation, but across the whole world. I don't know how other people in other countries operate in their school systems, but I do know that all counties in our country have a school system. They have a juvenile justice system. They have a child welfare system. They have hospital systems. And they have communities. Because we're working in an ecosystem, so what we're developing is a way to essentially script the moves so that any school, this is specifically around working in the classroom and working with the school system, so it gets really, really technical. So for this group, I'll just say, when we're done, we're gonna have a document that's published that can be picked up and installed at any school across the country. So next slide, please. Okay, so the evolution. We were approved, so I would first off want to say thank you, Board of Supervisors, so much. I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without the approval from y'all. Every single contract that has come through, you have all approved. So I believe you when you say you stand behind this project because you've approved every layer of it along the way. So once we got y'all's green light to say yes, you can implement this project. It took a while. We finally got our first activity going in October with the Epicenter. They hired their Rainbow Connections Wellness and Outreach and Engagement Coordinator. Then in January, Family Acceptance Project began. I really believe that this is in the roots, getting into the root system. Our youth is working within the family system. So we got that going. Then in March, Partners for Peace hired their family support partner. This is in 2024. July, we've had about 18 people trained in welcoming schools. So we have 18 trainers that can go and facilitate welcoming schools. September 2024, we brought Dragonfly Forward in, and going into the next calendar year, this year, Diversity Center begins. And then we brought in Paul Richmond with Art Makes Us, and that's where you see You Will Rise as a component of Arts Makes Us. And then March, we added another bullying prevention coach. We also added another family support partner so that we can provide services far and wide in Monterey County. And then April 2025, our training program with Gender Health Institute officially began. And if I went on, I would fill up another 3 slides about what's happened between now, April 2025 and now. It just keeps getting bigger and better. So I think this might be the last slide here. I just wanted to let everybody know there's a QR code if you wanted to look up on our link tree. We're in the process right now of developing the website. I anticipate that will be ready by August. That's our official soft launch date. So there's a lot there. If anyone has questions or feedback, I would love to hear.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you so much,
Great job.
Casey. I'll pass it back to whoever we have presenting. Okay, great, thank you. Is there more to present?
No, I was just thanking Casey for weighing
Oh.
in and explaining all of that. She did a great job, of course, and this is her passion project and her heart work. So I'm glad she was able to join us today.
Yeah, thank you again, Casey, and thank you, Melanie, too, for just being, I know you stepped in midway through as Director of Behavioral Health midway through the process, but we really appreciate, I think, having vision and having leadership that's willing to embrace vision really does allow for projects like these to move forward. So thanks to you. And thank you also to the Behavioral Health Commission that I know takes a lot of pride in the youth, how our MHSA projects get pushed forward to the full board for approval as well. I'll take it first to our committee, Supervisor Alejo, for comments or questions, and then we'll bring it out for public comment.
No, I think Casey did a great presentation. I want to thank the Behavioral Health Bureau for supporting this work to be able to take place to serve our young people with this particular programming. Casey, just a question I have, how many youth are we reaching with these programs? I know it's growing and you've done a lot of work in trying to amplify these programs, but just like for the public, how many youth are we serving through these programs, and how many more do we expect to reach in the next, when all these programs are fully operational?
So I would say to that, right now we have, because of all those different providers, we're in the process of preparing our annual report for 24-25. Because of this past, up until now, basically been building this multi-dimensional project. I can say within behavioral health, we're serving about 12 youth directly with our treatment, which is really involved, so it's multi-layered intensive treatment where that's needed. And then when we get broader into the number of youth that each provider has been able to impact, I'll have your numbers for you within about a month or a month and a half.
Great.
So if I tried to estimate, I don't think I'd do it justice.
Okay. All right. No, I really appreciate all the work, and thank you for the comprehensive presentation. And it really shows that a lot has happened in a short amount of time, which I really, I think, appreciated that we're doing these programs that really could have a great benefit for our young people throughout Monterey County, especially the bilingual component, as you rightly say, with some of our Latino families, and how some of these challenges intersect with religious beliefs. But having these kind of programs available and support for parents, hopefully we're better serving our families to deal with some of these complexities within some of the norms we have within our bilingual Latino community. So I know it's really, can't stress it enough. I think that these really help families confront some of the challenges that they face every day in our county. So thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. And you know, it's wonderful to see they just did they had to reschedule, but they're doing a parent recognition ceremony for our parents that have been involved in the Partners for Peace component. And it really is beautiful to see, because it's just about meeting people where they're at. You know, we don't need to go in and be any like judgmental about what people believe or what their, you know, what that mindset is. It's more about how do we support you wherever you're at.
Great. Awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll just comment, I had a chance to sit actually with some of the parents that have been participating in some of the early support at a program at the EPA Center that I attended with my mom and my son and some of our family friends. And some of just the conversations that we had with the other families that were attending the event. And listening to it's hard to be a parent, and there are no guidebooks for how to do this. And so hearing my mom reflect on her experience raising my sisters and I, and then while we were chatting with some other parents, and their experiences raising their children, and how helpful it was for them to be able to have the space that was created to get support from other parents who were also raising children in the space that was created through programs that were available through behavioral health and through I don't know if it was specifically through Rainbow Connections at this point, but it was through the programs that are aligned with Rainbow Connections for students that were trying to navigate their own path and figure out where they fit. And so for the families to be able to have space to figure out how we can best support our children within the context of what are our values as a family, and how do we do that in ways that are aligned with our values while also supporting our children. And you know, all of the complicated parts that go with being a family. I think it is so important, and the feedback that I was listening to was, it was acknowledging how complicated it can be, and how it's not, you know, there is no one, here's the book and here's how to do it, because every situation is different and every child is different and every parent is different and every family situation is different. And so being able to meet people where they are, it requires a lot of capacity embedded in community spaces where people feel comfortable and safe, with the supports and structures available, so that when people are ready and where they're most comfortable, they can receive the support that they need in the way that they're looking to receive it. So I just want to say I acknowledge how complicated all of this has been, and how what a labor of love it's been to pull everyone together. But I do know that for so many of our children that are navigating their own way through this world, maybe not in the way that we've defined as, you know, a SIDS experience, that one of the biggest risks for those children is choosing to not stay in this world with us. And so the one thing that we as parents and caregivers and people in this community that love these children and my fellow parents is, you know, that if we can meet these kids where they're at, and we can meet our fellow parents where they're at, and say, hey, we're going to figure this out together and we're in this with you. If we can just find the path together to get through this period of life, we can come out the other side, and we can stay here. We can walk this path together. So my goal, and with, like I tell all my son's friends, like we've got this and we'll figure it out, and I'm here with you for whatever that experience ends up looking like. So thank you, Casey, and thank you to the entire behavioral health team. We're here with you on this. So let's open it up to public comment. If you're with us online and you're able to raise your hand, we can call on you for public comment. We do have a Q&A feature. I'm not really sure how we do that in public meetings, but I will just read. There were a couple Q&A comments. If you're with us and able to make comments, that's probably the easiest way to do this, but I will, just for the record, there are a couple anonymous comments. One of them states that I'm sorry, but we do not appreciate any of you indoctrinating our children. These issues need to be discussed in the home with their parents, not our schools. What a, etc. What a shame. Stop this nonsense. Please stay out of parental rights. Another comment reads that this is not all about you brainwashing our children. You should all be sued. And a third comment states that this is so sick and evil. Our children are not yours. So we'll go ahead.
I thank you so much. I appreciate you allowing me in to speak. And I'm very sorry that these things are not announced more in advance, so that people who do not agree with what you all agree and that you are all trying to sell to this community, frankly, I'm tired of it. I am a grandmother. I'm 61 years old. Monterey County Child Protective Services kidnapped my infant grandson from the hospital and committed fraud upon the court. The social worker was Linda Castillo. She was fired for lying in a case in 2021. My case was 2012. I'm coming after Monterey County. I am going to sue you guys for civil rights violations, and I'm going to get back into the nature of children. You guys are working in the schools for the Board of Supervisors. You have no business doing this to our children or about our children. That's our job. That's a parental right. I'm tired of these schools sharing all the LGBT stuff. That was never in schools when I was young. Never. Never. You guys are part of the problem in the insanity in our youth, and they're so confused. And you guys are part of that problem. I want you to read a story about Jeff Younger, out of Texas. He had 2 twin boys. The mother is mentally ill, turned to be a lesbian after she was married to their father for several years. She divorced him, became a lesbian, then decided to tell the kid's father that one of the boys wanted to become a girl. No, the little boy didn't want to become a girl. The mother was doing that to make him want to be a girl. She was painting his finger
Catherine,
out.
thank you for your comment. Your time's
Yeah,
up.
thank you fucking liar.
Thank you for your comment. We appreciate you joining our meeting today.
You're
Is
sick.
there any other
You're
public
sick.
comment?
Hi, Wes White, Salinas, Monterey County Homeless Unit, that's how I always started. But I also have a YouTube channel, John Doe 13K. I go to a lot of events, and I've found that, you know, I really appreciate this presentation. I know it saves lives. I know it improves lives. I have a lot of admiration and respect for so many, like Youth for Action, for one thing. They're also with the Leadership Council, or at least they used to be. But the most intelligent beings I've come across, and you know, respectful, mindful, always trying to broaden that umbrella. It's just been a joy and a privilege to be around such wonderful people. There's nothing wrong with this. In fact, when I was going to school, they were in school. What are we talking about? They were our friends. So it's like there's no reason to try to attack. You know, I think about Carrillo College when their flag got burned, other buildings get their windows smashed. What she's talking about is violence. And that's not what these folks are about. That's not what any of these programs are about. It's about love and inclusivity and saving lives. You know, I mean, so I just appreciate you guys.
The additional Q&A comments are what exactly is the $5 million going to be used for to collaborate, question mark. Another one is that no question. Just want to say thank you so much to the board and Rainbow Connections for the amazing work you are doing. Children deserve the right and ability to be themselves, and this is very important work. And then another one says you are so mentally sick. And a final comment says that says the man who thinks housing is a constitutional right, they were not in our schools. All right, with that one, so we'll say thank you again, Casey, to Melanie, to the entire team at Behavioral Health that's worked so hard to put this together, and to all the partners. Please keep inviting us to the events so that we can join and show our support in all of the ways that are physical and tangible to be present. But keep up the good work, and we'll look forward to hearing updates and getting some data about deliverables and outcomes. Thank you again.
Thank you.